while I take this quick little sip from my water. But I got my pouch. You know what I'm saying? I got my little Capri Sun pouch. Well, this is nature's nectar. This is not Capri Sun right here. This is some generic juice pouch, but it's good nonetheless. Wild cherry flavor. And I figured I might as well come on here and put on a little show, hang out with anybody who's available. May not be many people today, but there may be. Nonetheless, we gonna do it. It is 4:09. It is the 11th of May. It's about 60 degrees here in northern New Jersey, unless this is wrong. Yeah, it's about 60 degrees. It cooled off a little bit. And it looks like over the next several days, it's gonna be in the mid 50s, maybe a little rainy tomorrow, but it's all good. But I figured we go ahead and come up on here and see what's popping with a couple of things. So first we gonna look and see what Maria Bartiromo's talking about. Okay, so it says that she's gonna go off on a House Republican for not intervening in Trump's trial. We got Jeremy. What's going on? Appreciate you for being here today, brother. We got Fritza. How you doing today, Queen Fritza? All right, let's see what Maria Bartiromo is talking about right now, because she's making a lot of noise, but I don't really know what it is. So she mad about them for not intervening in Trump's New York trial, which I don't really know what Stoned Assassin. What's going on? How you doing today? I don't really know what she expects or thinks that they could do to intervene, but let's see what she's talking about.
Can't continue to operate in Gaza the way that they have for years.
I want to get your take on the weaponization of government, Congressman, because I know that you're on this subcommittee, but I haven't heard a peep out of this committee while Donald Trump sits in a courtroom in Manhattan all day long, while Joe Biden is over there campaigning, going to all the swing states. What do you want to say about the weaponization?
Christina, Distracted Gardener, how you ladies doing today? Good to have you here. Thank you for joining.
Of government as Trump sits in that courtroom hearing from a porn star all day long.
Well, it's remarkable, and we actually just had a great hearing on free speech and Biden administration's censorship of Americans' free speech by using social media companies like Facebook and Google. But again, this is the two-tiered system of justice that has concerned me for a very long time. That you have a weaponized DOJ that is politically targeting and aiding these state prosecutors, and of course they have their own cases. Meanwhile, President Biden is able to do whatever he wants to do. This doesn't happen in America, and I think that is. We understand this, and I think most Americans see it for what it is, and polling reflects that. Most Americans believe that the prosecution of President Trump is more about politics than it is about some violation of the law. And with this New York case, Maria, they had to extend the statute of limitations via the state legislature just to be able to prosecute him. So people are frustrated by this because this isn't who we are in our DNA, in our fabric as a country.
In our fabric as a country.
If you want to go to a banana republic, you'll see that. But this is not what happens here in the United States.
That's all fine and good, Congressman, but why aren't you being louder about this? Why aren't I hearing anything from this committee? I had to just ask you about it.
I mean, one of the only things that Republicans are talking about is how unfair everything is for Donald Trump and how unfair the process is to him and how we have a two-tier justice system in Banana Republic. Literally all of them are saying this. So I don't know what she's talking about other than her just whining because Donald Trump is actually in trial. Other than that, I don't really know what she means.
Okay, just let me be clear. Viewers are sick and tired of hearing.
We got you a new couch. Okay, Christina, go ahead and wear that couch in. Go ahead and sit on it and make sure that it does you right.
They're sick and tired of letters. They're sick and tired of hearing complaints. They want action. President Trump is in a trial all day long, every day in New York City. Where is this committee of weaponization, and what are you doing about it? I just spoke with Kevin Hassett.
What are they supposed to do about it?
The former chairman of the White House Economics Council, and he said, make no mistake, if we see President Trump go to jail because he violated this gag order, markets will react. Watch this.
At the case in New York, that the judge is being so, undemocratic, unconstitutional in his rulings against President Trump, it really looks like there's a conspiracy to put him in jail, to put him behind bars. And if President Trump is in chains going to Rikers Island, then, would you want to buy a U.S. Treasury the next day? The thing that I'm really worried about short-term risk.
If he's on his way to prison, but he's not in office, then no. Why would that rock the markets? Why would that destabilize? Why would that destabilize the fabric of the country if someone who, that they're making it sound like in the middle of his term, he gets carried out of office and put into handcuffs and put into a prison cell. But that's not what we're talking about.
For the economy is,
and again, hold
the
on,
Democrats are serious. The thing that I'm worried then, and if President Trump is, it really looks like there's a conspiracy to put him in jail, to put him behind bars. And if President Trump is in chains going to Rikers
former Council of Economics Advisors chairman
Island, then would you want to buy a U.S. Treasury the next day? The thing that I'm really,
I think that's I think this was a horrible prediction or example that he's trying to use.
Worried about short-term risks for the economy is that the Democrats are serious in this lawfare, and if they actually succeed, then imagine it's like we become a banana republic the moment they take them to Rikers, and I just can't imagine what happens to Treasury markets that day.
Okay, Congressman.
I can't imagine what would happen to the treasuries that day. This when you're too lost in the sauce or whatever it is that you do. Like when finance bros are too deep in finance, and so they just have finance brain rot, and everything is about money, everything's about profit, and they really believe that. Or like the tech bros or the crypto bros who are too lost in the sauce, and it's like, we can make pods that float here and cities that do this, and we can launch people, and this is the exact same thing right here. What are you talking about?
We're losing the country. So with all due respect, I'm not blaming you specifically.
I guess they are losing the country. That's why they're doing all this arbitrary bullshit.
But it's not enough to set up a committee that's called the weaponization of federal government. That's not doing it for anybody. We want to hear more from you. We want to hear action. We want to know what the heck is going on in this New York trial where nobody can seem to come up with a crime.
Well, I'll tell you
what are you talking about? Yeah, man, this is like the easiest job ever. All you got to do is show up. Because, period, regardless, one of the benefits of having producers is, for instance, anything I do with TYT is infinitely easier than this because, they got the producers, they got the editors, they have everything ready to go. All you got to do is show up, basically. But imagine doing that for Fox News, being a Maria Bartiromo or a Jesse Waters. You just show up and, do nothing, yell and chirp, scream, shout, say ridiculous nonsense, and get paid millions of dollars a year for it. But I guess that's your legacy at the end of the day. But they don't give a fuck about that.
What I'm specifically doing. Of course, I serve on these committees. I don't chair them necessarily, but I serve on them. Happy to play whatever part because I agree with you. I've introduced and we have actually passed out of the Judiciary Committee the No More Political Prosecutions Act, which would actually inhibit state prosecutors from being able to go after former presidents like they are. It would remove these venues in the state of New York, Atlanta, and elsewhere to a federal court should the president decide to do it. It has passed the Judiciary Committee. We're waiting on it to be voted on in the House. These are substantive things I think that we can be doing to inhibit and stop these elected Democratic prosecutors from targeting President Trump. New York is rife with crime.
But yeah, no, just in general, the reality is that one of the only things that we hear from Republicans is them complaining about what's going on with oh, we got G in the building. What's going on, brother? How you doing? Well, one of the only things that Republicans talk about and complain about is what's going on with Donald Trump. So again, what an easy job. You just get to show up and yell and shout and scream. All right, now let's see what Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about, because I don't know if you saw that she got booed on the House floor the other day because she just, and as we already discussed. I mean, really, at the end of the day, there's no real gain from her trying to oust Mike Johnson, other than her just getting attention, just her doing what she always does. That's it. Nothing more. Yes, definitely take a shot. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and the godmothers and anybody who is a mother figure in the chat. Thank y'all for everything that you do because we need you. I'll definitely be talking to my mom tomorrow for quite some time and my sister. And I'll be wishing all the mothers I know a happy Mother's Day. All right, let's see. Marjorie Taylor Greene loses it on Fox News. Bizarrely claims they want to murder Tucker Carlson. Oh, okay, let's see what's up. Trent, what's going on? Trent, how you doing, brother?
Huge dramatic moment, historical moment. We've played this thing. We've run the sprockets off it. It's dramatic. The audience loves it. Fox News, Murdoch News. And you have to understand, this is why they are controlled opposition and trying to tap you along.
Right.
In one of the most, MSNBC cuts to it, CNN cuts.
Fox News is controlled opposition. I guess that's true when it comes to the agenda that Steve Bannon wants. I guess that is like, oh, Fox News isn't radical enough. Which again, I guess at the end of the day, that's kind of true.
Because it's news. Even the propaganda channels have to do it. It's a dramatic moment. Fox News is not
Libby, good to have you here. Hope you're having a good Saturday so far.
cut to that. Your thoughts, ma'am?
Yeah. So you got to remember Fox News that literally fired Tucker Carlson, the #1 cable TV news host in the nation. Tucker, who was basically the voice of everyone. That's the Fox News that refused to cover me calling the motion to vacate. The five never switched gears. They never changed, never went to anything different. Fox News wants to control what Republican voters think, and the control and the information that they give you is the establishment Republican Party view, the Bush view, the Cheney view, the same view.
The Bush view, the Cheney view. Yeah, because Dick Cheney wasn't right wing enough. He wasn't sufficient enough. Again, she crazy for real. Cause like she seems to really believe her nonsense, but at the same time, it's nonsense. So like she's just all over the place.
That led us into the Iraq War, claiming that there was weapons of mass destruction. They want to make their viewers think that we have to fight for Ukraine, that we have to stop Putin because he's going to steamroll across Europe just like Hitler did, even though there's no evidence of showing that. The same Fox News refuses to say, hey, let's call for peace for these people in Ukraine instead of wiping out an entire generation of Ukrainians. Think about that. This is the same Fox News that wants to infuriate you every single day while Republicans go down to the border, drag out the podium once again, point at, oh, look, they're crossing the border. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my. But yet Republicans don't do a damn thing to actually stop it. Nothing.
Again, like the radicalization, because really at the end of the day, what would satisfy people like this? Like, having the National Guard or some shit at the border shooting people. Only then would they feel like we're actually really doing something about it. We're actually trying now. I mean, like literally, that would be the only thing that would satisfy people who adhere to this type of extremism, for them to be calling Fox News controlled opposition. Or to suggest that Republicans in office don't care about immigration, and they're so on the side of people. Like, come on, man.
We could have stopped it in our appropriations. We could change all kinds of things. We have the Speaker of the House, the most powerful position in the Republican Party, third in line.
Well, Teddy, I hope that y'all have a fantastic celebration this evening, and what a blessing to have your father on this earth for another year.
To the president, third in line to the president. The speaker can do anything he wants to do if he's willing to do it. But we have a speaker that's so weak that an 80-year-old man with dementia is able to fool him. This is where we are. And Fox News wants to make sure that you guys.
And again, another way that too, that this is really just about her getting attention like it always is because she wasn't making no noise about Kevin McCarthy. And Mike Johnson, he got in there and did much of the same thing that Kevin McCarthy did. And pretty much anybody else would too, because you can't, sure, Kevin, Mike Johnson could make arbitrary moves, but if he doesn't have enough people on his side, that's going to backfire tremendously. then he really would get kicked out of there. It would go from there only being one or two people or a couple of Republicans wanting him to be kicked out to like the whole damn house wanting him gone because he just, oh, I'm going to do what I want. But even that's not going to happen. And if they did kick Mike Johnson out, who would come after that? Who would come after that? That would do anything different, So there's no tact, there's no plan, there's no nothing to this. It's just extremism and nonsense and her getting attention.
Don't have your own opinion, that you only have the opinion that Fox News tells you to have. And that's why Fox News attacks Steve Bannon. That's why Fox News attacks Charlie Kirk. And that's why Fox News would love to murder Tucker Carlson. And that's the reality. And that's why Fox News is losing viewers, because I think you guys are smart. The American people are too smart, and you're tired of being fed outrage TV, and watching and voting and donating to Republicans that don't do a damn thing about it. And I think that's where we're turning the corner, Steve, and I hope to God we continue turning that corner.
No, it's Charlie Kirk, Jack Posobiec, Tucker. It's not us saying it. It's Politico.
Because there's no infrastructure whatsoever for people like Charlie Kirk these days, because Charlie Kirk, he's doing quite well for himself. He really is. I mean, so what is she talking about? Charlie Kirk has no issue getting his message out there. In fact, anytime he says anything, everybody reacts to it because Charlie Kirk has a massive platform. So like, I don't really know what they're talking about. Still to this day, Andrew Tate is able to get his messages out to the public despite everything that's going on. And I bring Andrew Tate up because he's undergone. I mean, he was one of the most heavily scrutinized people on the planet, especially while he was, at the climax of his popularity and his usefulness to content creators. I mean, people could not stand him. People still can't stand him, but he still got a voice. And Tucker Carlson, when it comes to him, he still has a platform and a voice, but he's just supremely untalented. I mean, Tucker Carlson is less talented than Charlie Kirk. He's less talented than all of those people. So that's another thing he's running into. But ain't nobody never had no issues spreading hatred on modern day platforms. There's levels to it.
It's a huge piece of how Fox News saved Johnson. Rupert Murdoch stepped in to save Johnson because you had Tucker Carlson, you
got Mike Boy Luke, UC Love. What's going on?
America's Voice War Room guys. You had Charlie Kirk, you had Jack Posobiec, of course, all the Real America Voice hosts all over. Why have we not used our leverage? Remember, if you submit to the Democrats, you're going to get good press from the mainstream media. You're going to look like a
and again, like, how undemocratic are they? Because they sitting here acting like this is what everyone wants, but it's not what everyone wants. The Republican Party is incredibly homogenous, not just with ethnicity. I mean, they're mostly white, but also more importantly than that, they're homogenous in terms of how they move as a unit. They vote pretty much in line with each other all the time. This is, I mean, at least as far as I can think of, in my 32 years of life, since I've been paying attention to politics, at least, I can't really recall a time where Republicans were as divided as they are now, and they're still incredibly homogenous. So, I don't know what the hell. I mean, like, how are you making a fuss about this? This is what the majority of people want. The majority of people don't want Mike Johnson out of there for the reasons that MTG wants him gone. So,
statesman. You're going to be bipartisan. Stephanie Rule's going to say you're part of the unity party, right?
Right.
And the country's looking for bipartisanship. It's
Mr. J Guns, man, appreciate you for being here, brother. Thank you for all of the support that you give. Thank you for anything that you've ever given. You know what I'm saying? I just hopped on here on randomly on a Saturday afternoon, and here y'all are vibing and jiving with me. So I appreciate y'all, man. I really do. I struggle just like anybody else, and I really have big plans for this platform. And the more that I do this, the more I see that it's possible because of all of you. So again, thank you everybody, and especially thank you to you. Oh, we got Basky. Hold on, we got Basky. Welcome, welcome. We got Basky. We got Jesse with the memberships. We got Sean Gallagher with the membership now. We got Julio with the membership. Hold on, who gave him out? Who did I miss? Let's see. Yes, I believe he is good at kickboxing. Hold on, who bought the memberships? Because I can't see it right now. Trent, brother. Okay, we got brother Trent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. And again, thank you everybody for just supporting me in any way that you can, because it really does make a difference. Not just for me, but again, now we sitting here building resources for mental health and shit. So it's cool, man. I'm loving it. And I appreciate all of y'all. But again, look at how undemocratic these people are.
Looking for unity because they want if bipartisanship means compromise with the Democrats and giving them one, and you saw it here, everything on the budget, everything on the border, everything on Ukraine, across the board, everything. Marjorie Taylor Greene, your thoughts?
Well, I'm just looking at that headline and it says how Rupert Murdoch quietly helped Mike Johnson survive Marjorie Taylor Greene's ouster attempt. So that's also the Democrats, everybody. It wasn't just Rupert Murdoch. It wasn't just Fox News. It was the Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, Jerry Nadler, Hakeem Jeffries, all these Democrats that literally are destroying our country right now. Locked arms with Fox News, locked arms with 196.
She's all over the place. So what were Democrats supposed to do? I mean, like, again, because for the most part, pretty much everybody just wants stuff to keep going forward, so why wouldn't the Democrats do this? Even if they wanted Hakeem Jeffries to be up there, it wouldn't be worth the time, like this woman. And again, as long as her district wants her in office, then she'll be in office. But I think that Republicans are definitely going to continue to turn on her publicly, because I don't think she's going to stop doing this. She seems to take this very personally.
Republicans and said, do not stop the Unity Party?
The Unity Party.
Oh, yeah, Ken Buck's Unity Party.
Unity Party.
Right.
He's trying for his new MSNBC gig.
Because what is the so-called Unity Party done? The Unity Party.
Fuck unity. Fuck being together. So, but isn't that basically the whole crux of what you're talking and whining about right now, is that you wish that people would be more unified and together with you? I mean, fascists and when you're extreme of any kind, but right now we're talking about fascists, it's like they just talk for a while and it's like, well, you're not going to be able to get anything done for long periods of time, especially if you hate everybody and everybody hates you, which seems to be the crux of their issue.
Party has given us over $34 trillion in debt. The Uniparty has cut our border wide open.
Hell yeah, everybody booed her. Rightfully so, because again, it's like, we just replaced the speaker and we could do it again and ain't nothing gonna change. Like, it's to no one's interest to it's stupid. So yes, I deeply enjoyed watching her get booed as well. That was great.
Complain about it all the time on Fox News. They've never pushed Republicans to do anything about it. The Uniparty has given us the destruction of America, and we are falling apart as a nation to the point, Steve, my own children who are all in their 20s, that generation has no hope for the future. They don't believe they're ever going to be able to buy a house. This generation of young people today.
Yes. But what does anything that you're talking about have to do with solving that? We got to get rid of Mike Johnson so we can, again, like, what would be the levels we would have to go to satisfy someone like this? Shoot them at the border. Like it sounds like a joke, but it's not, because that's really what they want.
We'll never be able to realize and live the American dream like our generations and generations before us were able to do. And this is what they want to continue in Washington, D.C. And shame on Marjorie Taylor Greene for trying to end it. Shame on Marjorie Taylor Greene for trying to actually hold our party accountable and our speaker accountable, who, guess what, by the way, Rupert Murdoch didn't vote for Mike Johnson. I did. I voted for him. You want to know something? Nobody watching this show right now voted for Mike Johnson. I did. And because I voted for him, guess what? That means I can hold him accountable. And that means I have a duty to hold him accountable. And so does the rest of the Republicans that voted for him. But guess what? 196 Republicans locked arms with all those Democrats and said, no, we want to keep it going.
Okay. Okay. Again, it's like, I mean, this shit's just gonna get so messy. Not that our political system isn't messy enough already, but just to think about how what direction is the Republican Party really going in other than saving Trump's ass, which is why it's so hilarious to watch that rant of them and before that, Maria Bartiromo talking about no one's sticking up for Trump on the right. We're tired of seeing the Republican Party not do everything. That's all any of them are talking about is how unfair everything is for Trump. Literally, their entire establishment is dependent upon Trump's opinion, all of it. All right, let's see what's up. Where we at? Marjorie Sil. All right, we got a variety of news updates today. We got some marijuana updates, which we gonna check out maybe right now. We got a little bit of news. New Lord of the Rings movie is coming out. It's gonna be released in 2026. The Hunt for Gollum. So we gonna look into that a little bit. Batman, the Caped Crusader. That's going to be a new series that's coming out. That's going to be released. That's going to be streamed. We got a variety of things to look at. Now, here's a good reason on why we need to federally legalize marijuana, because stuff like this will be less of an issue. It'll be less of a concern. Armed robbers make off with $437,000 from marijuana courier. Cannabis banking reform would stem cannabis dispensary attacks where workers are sitting ducks. Yeah, again, one of the without the banking reform, with it being federally illegal, the banks can't really work with them as widely as they would be able to otherwise. So they got to do everything cash and transport cash, which of course leaves them open to potentially being robbed. You're driving around with hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in cash. And they have to make these deposits and stuff. Um, they can't just hold it forever. They got to do it on a basis, so you can map out how often the trucks come and put together a heist. Whereas if you could do things digitally, you wouldn't have to do that. At least not as often, for sure. Two armed men, along with their getaway driver, were arrested this week for robbing a courier who was transporting over $436,000 from multiple cannabis dispensaries in Massachusetts. The perpetrators intercepted the courier, sprayed him in the eyes with pepper spray, and then made off with the cash. While the case underscores the collaborative efforts of law enforcement agencies, federal and local agents were involved to combat organized crime. It also sheds light on the risks inherent in the banking restrictions facing the cannabis industry. That is to say, there is no proper banking access for any and all cash gathered at or by a marijuana company that is involved in touching the actual cannabis plant. Due to the cash-only situation in retail weed shops, workers are sitting ducks for robberies, theft, or worse. Attacks have increased across the country in recent years. Burglaries at shops in Washington state have now become commonplace, especially ones where a stolen vehicle is used to ram a building to get inside. Oh yeah, we've seen several of those. We may have talked about one of those stories on here, but I can't remember. All right, let's see what's up. Is Paul? You mean Paul, the alien movie, Distracted Gardener? Is that what you mean? Because is that movie where Seth? What was it? Seth something. I can't remember his name right now for whatever reason. Seth Rogen. It's not Seth Rogen. Yeah, it is Seth Rogen who does Paul's voice, that alien. I think that's the movie. All right. But yeah, ramming the car into the building to go in there and run out. In 2020 and 2021, there were more than 80 reported armed robberies in Washington, with some ending in death. The Secure Fair Enforcement Regulation Banking Act, the Safer Banking Act, would give cannabis companies normalized access to banking and financial services and allow dispensaries to accept credit cards rather than cash only. The Banking Act has passed in the U.S. House 7 times. And then it goes to the Senate and nothing happens. The Senate approved it in September 2023, though it has yet to be taken up on the full Senate floor, nor has it made it to the upper chamber of the House. As of this past April, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer sought to include safer, and I thought I remembered him pushing for that, but it didn't happen. Win-win. Banks went in on the marijuana billions, and people don't want to get robbed. Indeed, this is a very easy fix, and one that it'll happen. I mean, it'll happen because it has to. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know when this will pass, but it definitely will pass. And also, too, you know, weed will continue to be legalized. Again, it may take some time, but it'll happen. So hopefully much sooner than later, because this is a very, this is a gaping hole in the industry that everybody can see. So why not go ahead and do something about it real quick, especially too on the given the fact that it's beneficial to the banks. You know, it's beneficial to the banks. We got Bizarro World Dragon in the building. What's going on? How you doing? Mm-mm. All right, now let's see what's up. What we gonna do now? Okay, oh yeah, let's look at this. This is cleaning up plastic out of the ocean. Yo, it's crazy when you look at this. Like if you've ever seen videos of like just huge patches, like miles big, where there's just trash, plastic, just floating all through just huge patches of the ocean. And also, too, microplastics are a huge problem as well. I mean, we got microplastics in everything, including ourselves. Like I know they'll take like random samples from people of various sorts, and they'll find like microplastics like that we eat and in our diets and shit like that. A half-mile installation just took 20,000 pounds of plastic out of the Pacific. Proof that ocean garbage can be cleaned. Nice. When Boyan Slat was 18, he planned to rid the oceans of plastic. About 10 years later, Slat is 27, an inventor and the founder of the Ocean Cleanup, a nonprofit that plans to remove 90% of the floating plastic in the ocean by 2040. That's cool as fuck. That is an awesome, worthwhile goal. That's some shit to invest in right there. This plan seemed incredible at first. The first plastic catching device prototype broke in 2018. A newer prototype in 2019 succeeded in catching plastic, but the organization estimated that hundreds of the devices would be needed to clean the ocean. Indeed, because what, like 70% of the Earth's surface is water. Most of that being ocean water, big water, ocean water. Researchers began to doubt whether the organization would be able to succeed in its goal. But this year, the Ocean Cleanup created a new device dubbed System 002, or Jenny. This one beat all of its tests without malfunctioning. Additionally, Jenny hauled almost 20,000 pounds of garbage out of the Pacific Ocean. Nice. How Jenny works. The Pacific Ocean garbage patch floats between Hawaii and California, and it teems with trash from fishing nets to microplastics, all of which is harming the environment. For a long time, researchers thought it would be impossible to fully dismember the garbage patch, but the Ocean Cleanup wants to prove them wrong. The ocean plastic cleaner device cleaned like a 330-foot long. It looked like a 330-foot long floating pipe. Meanwhile, the new version is more flexible and shaped like a U, I guess, so yeah, it could scoop stuff up more. When the nets attached to it fill with plastic about every few weeks, the crew will empty it onto a boat and set it back onto the ocean. And so it said that what did it say? Every few weeks they empty it. So they look into, I guess have like a whole bunch of those, like, well, it said hundreds of them that they wanted to have, but obviously it will be necessary for the scope of the whole ocean, multiple oceans. But this is the garbage patch they said between California and Hawaii. When the garbage is shipped back to shore, the plastic parts will get recycled. The organization is turning the plastic into sunglasses, which which proceeds will go to the cleanup. Furthermore, the ocean cleanup, okay, so like a cycle of trying to make products out of the plastic, and then that, profits from that going to help fund this. And obviously something like this is going to need a lot of government grants, but this is the type of stuff that government grants should go towards. This is what the government, these are the types of things government should support rather. And I fully suspect that they've obviously already gotten grants and they'll continue to get them. There's no way they made it this far without government support. They wouldn't be allowed to do that if the government didn't say, yeah, you could. You can't just do whatever you want in people's waters. All right. So we got, but no, this is very, very noble. This is very worthwhile. Slat says that 10 Jennies will be required to clean up half of the Pacific garbage patch in 5 years. Just one Jenny can capture about 10,000 to 15,000 kilograms of trash. This includes large containers, fishing nets, microplastics, and other forms of floating garbage. Jenny is also designed to be animal friendly. The boats sail in about 1.5 miles. They sail at about 1.5 miles an hour, so the marine animals can easily swim around them. Nice, definitely. Got to put those types of cautionary things in place. Plus, there are cameras, lights, escape routes, and systems in place to guide the creatures. Crew members keep an eye on the interactions of the marine life. On the Jenny. Boom. There's 9,000 kilograms of ocean plastic. And of course, I'm an American, so I don't know. I don't understand what that means. All I know is that means lots of trash. And oh, we got Elisa in the building. What's going on? But yeah, no, this is cool as hell. Okay, preventing okay, the biggest flaw of Jenny is that it only captures plastic floating near the surface. However, further research suggests that there is about 30 times as much trash at the bottom of the ocean. Another flaw is that this machine doesn't prevent plastic from getting tossed into the ocean to start with. About 24 trillion pounds of plastic is poured into the ocean every year. That's like you can't really comprehend that number. You know what I mean? Like you can't really comprehend what the hell that means. Like 24 trillion pounds, like that's insanity. Thirdly, the boats that pull the Jenny need fuel that impacts the environment negative. Well, of course. So there's all these issues. But it's good when you can identify the issues because then you know what you need to fix, you know what you need to work on, and also too, that's where that's a lot of what you invest in. You know what I'm saying? You invest into the problem areas. Obviously, not all of them, but it's like, look, this is going to be an issue, so help us fix it. Hurdles. But hey, like one of the cool things about this is that they're addressing an issue that a lot of people just said this is too big of a problem to conquer at all. Not only is it too big of a problem to conquer, it's too big of a problem to even address. But they already are proving that wrong, so they can continue to make improvements upon the technology and the service. All right, let's see. Now, it's looking like Donald Trump just can't keep himself out of financial problems. He just can't help himself. IRS audit of Trump could cost former president more than $100 million. God damn. And this is a ProPublica article, which means it is very, very in depth. The tax agency concluded in its long running investigation that Trump effectively claimed the same massive write off twice on his failed Chicago tower. He just, where can I commit fraud? Oh, here, I'll do it. Wherever I can possibly commit fraud, just go ahead and get it done. And he said, like him saying that him not paying taxes makes him smart. Remember him saying he did say that makes him smart. Former President Donald Trump used a dubious accounting maneuver to claim improper tax breaks from his troubled Chicago tower, according to an IRS inquiry uncovered by ProPublica in the New York Times. Losing a years-long audit battle over the claim could mean a tax bill of more than $100 million. Yo, this dude's in everything in his life is just falling apart. The 92-story glass-seethed skyscraper along the Chicago River is the tallest and, at least for now, the last major construction project by Trump. Though a combination of cost overruns and the bad luck of opening in the teeth of the Great Recession, it was also a vast money loser. But when Trump sought to reap tax benefits from his losses, the IRS has argued he went too far and, in effect, wrote off the same losses twice. Everything he does is simple. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's cheap. Like, he's just a cheap, sloppy ass financial criminal. That's all he is. And he's charismatic. He's got some charisma about him. The first write-off came on Trump's tax return for 2008. With sales lagging far behind projections, he claimed that his investment in the condo hotel tower met the tax code definition of worthless because his debt on the project meant he would never see a profit. That move resulted in Trump reporting losses as high as $651 million for the year, ProPublica and the Times found. There is no indication the IRS challenged that initial claim, though that lack of scrutiny surprised tax experts consulted for this article. But in 2010, Trump and his tax advisors sought to extract further benefits from the Chicago project, executing a maneuver that would draw years of inquiry from the IRS. First, he shifted the company that owned the tower into a new partnership. Okay, so he moved the headquarters somewhere else. All right. Because he controlled both companies, it was like moving coins from one pocket to another. Then he used the shift as justification to declare $168 million in additional losses over the next decade. Yo, that's just what he does. Like he just yeah, exactly, Lisa. You right. One way or another, you gonna pay eventually. You know what I'm saying? But it's like this dude literally just any which way he could find to commit fraud, he just did it. Which goes to show how terrible with money he must be. Like he just blows it because I mean, one, first and foremost, if he actually was good at business, he wouldn't have needed to do any of this fraudulent BS. He could have just invested his money and been good. But why do you really need to commit fraud at this level? What drives you to do it unless that's again how you make your money? That's how he makes his money. It's through fraud. He's a con, that's all he does. He just scams and cons and commits fraud. That is what he does, which is really amazing to think about. Like that's his profession. And he became president and he might be president again. The issues around Trump's case were novel enough that during his presidency, the IRS undertook a high level legal review before pursuing it. ProPublica and the Times, in consultation with tax experts, calculated that the revisions sought by the IRS would create a new tax bill of more than $100 million plus interest and potential penalties. Yo, if this dude doesn't become president, he is so, man, I mean, can you imagine how stressed the fuck out he has to be about this? His only saving grace is becoming president again. If this man does not become president, he is fucked. Fucked. Because then he'll be able to have all of his criminal trials go down before he goes in office because he would have lost. Now, obviously, again, we got to see if that happens. But if he loses, he is screwed. Unbelievable, man. And he never needed to be president in the first place. Like, there's no real, like, he didn't really personally gain that much from this. He would have gained so much more if he would have not become president and then just started that network like he wanted to, and then he would have been that big what if. Like, bro, he would have been such a hit. But he let people see his ass. Trump's tax records have been a matter of intense speculation since the 2016 presidential campaign, when he defied decades of precedent and refused to release his returns, citing a long-running audit. A first partial revelation of the substance of the audit came in 2020 when the Times reported that the IRS was disputing a $72.9 million tax refund that Trump had claimed started in 2010. That refund, which appeared to be based on Trump's reporting of vast losses from his long failing casinos, equaled every dollar of federal income tax he had paid during his first flush of television riches from 2005 to 2008 plus interest. Okay, so basically all this really is it's just more it's just more fraud. More fraud and him having to face up to more of it. More penalties rather. Man, these people fucking stereo system is trash. They be having it booming though, but I ain't even mad at them. It's Saturday. Do your thing. But yes, no, if these motherfuckers do not bring Donald Trump across the finish line, man. All right. Right. He didn't want to release his taxes for a reason because again, that's what he does for a living is he commits fraud like that. That's and so cheaply too, so brazenly. Like, God. Okay, so apparently Donald Trump came out and ranted for 10 minutes the other day. We got Mayor in the building. What's going on? How you doing? Okay. What is so we got Greg Gutfield talking shit about Christy Noam. Haven't seen it. What is he gonna say?
So, this weekend I did something I rarely do. I read a guest book for a segment we had planned. It's called No Going Back by Christy Noam. Who knew the title was referring to this show? Because today she canceled on us. Yeah. The one time I actually read the book, and the author, sorry, I mean the person whose name is on the book, cancels, blames the weather. I don't believe it. I just think it's a little late to keep her on a short leash. I'd hope she'd reconsider, but I'm not going to sit up and beg. At any rate, every dog has its day. It's just not May 7th, 2024, and I'm not going to let them waste my time, so we're moving forward with the interview. Standing in for Christy Noam is somebody she wished she had listened to before she ever wrote the stupid book, Dana Pino. So, Dana, a.k.a. Governor Noam, did you write the book yourself?
You know, that's a great question for someone who...
Yo, they are really not letting her live off of this shit. And again, she didn't need to publish it, but they really are not letting her breathe. Republicans are on her ass about this.
Wrote the book. And I don't think I will dignify your question with a response. And there are so many other important issues in the world, like animal cruelty.
You know, I noticed that you seem not to know what was in the book, yet you voiced the audio for the book. Did you ever read the book?
Thank you for reading my book. I said some words that were written about me, and they were in a certain order of, they call them sentences.
Yes.
And so I read those aloud. Right. I don't know if that means I read the book.
Okay. You know what? Would you blame, you've got a lot of controversies here. The ghostwriter, the editor, the publisher, was it their fault?
Well, a little known fact, another one of my dogs, his name.
But you know what? Honestly, even if she didn't put that, dog shooting shit in her book, she wouldn't have gotten as much scrutiny. Like, people wouldn't be on her head. But what else is in her book other than, again, a bunch of generic Republican BS, like all the college students protesting on behalf of Palestinians, other than stuff like that, and the border's wide open, we have open borders, and Biden's, how well would she really have been received? How excited would people really have been to have seen that?
Was ghostwriter. And I killed him this morning.
Does it bother you?
Again, these are Republicans.
Does it bother you that these stories about the dog in North Korea overshadow the rest of this book?
You know what really bothers me is that apparently I'm being overshadowed by the governor of the Lesser Dakota, Doug Burgum. And apparently I'm off the list for VP.
Because he only kills rattlesnakes.
Yes, and
is he? I guess he's doing this because she didn't come to his show. I guess that's why he's doing it. But that's it. I'll be interested to see. She probably isn't going to say much about any of this. She'll probably try to stay quiet and just move on, which I can't really blame her for it. But I'm kind of surprised to see how big of a disaster this has been for her. I mean, obviously, you would expect for Democrats, liberals, progressives. Or, yeah, but you would expect Republicans to not really be cool with the fact that she told everybody she shoots dogs, but they are on her ass about this shit. But yes, all right, let's see what's up. Hold on, what is this? Okay, Trump claims Biden wants everybody to be mandated an electric car. We don't need to look at that because we finna look at this long ass clip of Donald Trump ranting and raving. And a lot of the time, like this is another article I don't even think we gonna go through because like when I see articles like this, sometimes it's like, yeah, and we should go over it, but then it's like we know this already, we already know. This is not new information, so I don't think we really need to go over this right now. So before we get into the nerd news and everything like that, let's check some of this out. Trump goes on 10-minute post-trial rant on everything from gag orders to Biden lying about his golf game. He comes strolling out.
Mr. President, are you going to testify? There is no gag order to Michael Cohen. What the judge did was amazing, actually. It was amazing. Everybody can say whatever they want. They can say whatever they want, but I'm not allowed to say anything about anybody. It's a disgrace, and you see it. The media sees it. And it's really very sad. If you look at the legal experts and the legal scholars, every one of them say this trial is a scam. It's something that should have never happened. By the way, it could have happened 7 years ago. They bring it right during the election. Nobody sees that. Nobody talks about it. This should have been 7 years ago. It shouldn't have been brought. But if it was going to be brought, it should have been brought 7 years ago. And, we're talking about 2016. We're talking about something that goes back a charge of 2006. Think of it. We're talking about 2016. We're talking about a charge that's 18 or 19 years old. It's all fake. The whole case is fake. The judge is corrupt. And the only thing he gives us is to make him look a little bit good. He gives us nothing. And what he just did now is a joke. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. So I just want to mention right here, Biden made a claim that inflation under Trump was 9%. When it wasn't, it was a tiny fraction. It was 1.4% and actually going down. We had essentially almost no inflation, but we
no inflation whatsoever while Trump was in office. Everybody could afford everything.
Had 9% inflation, and that's a fake number because not everything was included with Biden. And if you add it all up, I think it's a 50% inflation tax. I call it the Biden inflation tax. So he lies, and he lies about everything, including his golf game, because he can't hit a ball. He can't hit a ball 100 yards.
Look at he a little smirk on Sally.
Lies about everything, but he came out. I saw that this last couple of days. He was talking about.
Look at the chyron at the bottom. Trump. Whole case is fake. Judge is corrupt.
Trump inflation was 9%. No, his inflation was 9%. That's a tax on the American people due to gross incompetence, and it was all started because of his energy policies, his stupid Green New Deal energy policies. And you wait till you see. If we don't win this nation is finished.
He came ready. He brought his papers. He got everything ready.
You wait till you see what would happen, because all of that stuff will be closed up.
His papers, look, they blew it up for him just how he needs it. His papers have very large pictures and a few words that are very big. That way he can keep up with everything.
He let a lot of my energy policies go through because energy was starting under what they were doing, starting to go up so high. So he let a lot of them continue, including the drilling, because the prices were going so high for gasoline and energy. And now he comes out and he actually says, I guess with a straight face, but I'm not sure he knows what he's saying anyway, that it was 9% under Trump. So at least the New York Post, and I hear the Wall Street Journal, and a couple of others did correct it. Now, it was 1.4, it was actually lower than that. We included everything. They didn't include everything. They took some of the worst categories and didn't include them in the 9.
Why is he holding this sheet of paper that has nothing on it for everyone to see? Like,
So his 9% is actually much higher than that. But it's a tax over a 4-year period of more than 50%. And I call it the inflation tax, the Biden inflation inflation tax. Now here's another one that just came out, Axios. No friend of mine. They say that Biden's...
Yo, they really got all his shit like that because there is no need. There is absolutely no need for them to have any type of picture on these papers whatsoever. None. They got a giant ass picture just so he'll read it. Yo, and I mean, God, it's like he's a fucking little boy. He's a little kid. Like he's really a little kid, and people want him back in office.
Donors fume over Israel criticism. Biden's donors are the ones that are against Israel. So somehow maybe those people, Jewish people that vote for Democrats or vote for Biden, if they look at what they're doing, the donors to Biden are against Israel. Very much and vehemently against Israel.
Biden's donors are against Israel. He just says shit.
Hate Israel. And that's why Biden hates Israel, because
Biden hates Israel. God, he's so dumb.
he goes with his donors, and he always has, so they ought to start thinking about that. And now you have the lawfare implosion. This is the Wall Street Journal. Kim Strassel is a great reporter. They ought to read this story because it talks about what's going on here. What's going on here is a disgrace. Jonathan Turley just came out. This case is becoming legally obscene. It's, I mean, the articles are unbelievable. And I'd hand you the articles, but the problem is I'm not allowed to. Because if anything's mentioned against certain people, and you know who they are, certain people, anything's even mentioned.
I remember when he had, what did he call 100% proof or 100% evidence to exonerate himself, and he just never brought it. He changed his mind.
He wants to put me in jail, and that could happen one day, and I'd be very proud to go to jail for our Constitution, because what he's doing is so unconstitutional. There's never been anything like it. This is story after story right here. Look at this, one after another. And this is over the last 2 days. Story after story. Hannity, big story. They're all big. Dershowitz, Jonathan Turley, Andrew McCarthy, Greg Jarrett. They've all been amazing. They're not friends. Nobody's friends. They're writing stories. They've never seen anything like that. They've never seen anything like what's going on today in this court is a very dark day for New York City, New York State, and it's a very dark day for our nation. And in the meantime, I can't be out campaigning. They could have brought it, I told you, 7 years ago. They could have brought it if they want to bring it. Remember, everybody turned it down. Southern District turned it down. Washington turned it down. The Federal Election Commission turned it down. And you know who else turned it down? Cy Vance turned it down. Everybody turned it down. And then Bragg came in and he turned it down. And he got very angry, actually, because a man named Pomerantz came out. And what's happening with Pomerantz? Are the papers looking into that deal? But he got himself into a jam. And so what happened is Bragg turned it down. And then when the election comes along, he said, well, let's go. But it's not a case that's been turned down. Remember this. It's a federal case. They all turned it down. And he's bringing it into the state or the city, I guess. Look, he's a district attorney where crime is rampant, violent crime is all.
Okay, I think we pretty much get it. I don't think he's gonna say anything new or anything different. He says the exact same shit every time he throws himself his own press conference. This guy, man. My allergies. All right, so we got a little bit of nerd news, just a little. You know what I mean? Just a little bit. Sigourney Weaver, the legendary Sigourney Weaver, in talks to star in Jon Favreau's The Mandalorian and Grogu. Wasn't she? I think she was in. Wasn't she in The Mandalorian? I think. The Acolyte, which is um one of the Star Wars's next production that's going to be on Disney Plus. I can't recall when they're releasing it, but the Acolyte has a variety of pretty well-known actors in it. One of them is the woman who played Trinity in The Matrix. She's one of the main characters in it. Sigourney Weaver might be joining the Star Wars franchise. The fan favorite actress is in talks to join director Jon Favreau's The Mandalorian and Grogu movie. There are no details on who she would play in the movie. Oh, I guess she wasn't in one of these. Maybe I was thinking of something else or somebody else. There are no details on who she would play in the movie, but it would be pretty awesome if she actually ended up officially being cast in the movie. I agree. All we know about the movie is that it will pick up in the aftermath of The Mandalorian season 3. The Mandalorian and Grogu might also be the start of a trilogy that will also include Dave Filoni's untitled movie that will bring this whole new Republic saga together. Dave Filoni does good stuff. Favreau previously shared a statement with the film's announcement saying, I have loved telling stories set in the rich world that George Lucas created. The prospect of bringing The Mandalorian and his apprentice Grogu to the big screen is extremely exciting. Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy and Chief Creative Officer Dave Filoni will produce The Mandalorian and Grogu. It will be the first Star Wars film to start the production since Episode 9. The Rise of Skywalker. The movie will reportedly shoot this summer. Look, man, I mean, if it's written well, that's always what makes a difference. But I really don't know why Disney is putting out a trilogy for Rey Skywalker. I really don't, because people didn't like the what do you call it? The sequels. They didn't like the sequels. They didn't like the last three, the aftermath. They wasn't rocking with it. So it kind of seems like a waste of money, or maybe y'all should have waited until you put some other stuff out so that you could get your name back up. But we'll see what's up. We will see what's up. Hold on, what's this? See if it'll even play on this. Looks like it's not. All right, we got a new Lord of the Rings movie coming out in 2026. The Hunt for Gollum. There and back again, as the famous saying goes. Bilbo Baggins felt that was the theme of his life in The Hobbit, and now life is reflecting art. We are all going there and back of the world of Lord of the Rings. Okay, let's see. Um, Warner Bros. Is making it. Discovery. And now Warner Bros. Discovery. And now our most recent updates reveal that Peter Jackson, he's behind it. And of course, he was behind the original Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Hobbit trilogy, I'm pretty sure. Additionally, we will see these new live action The Lord of the Rings movies sooner than we think, he said. So what, is he going to make it a trilogy? So what is it about? Okay, so it's going to be totally new. Okay, so if it's storylines that have yet to be told, then maybe that means it'll be something that's completely non-canon, or it could be like some, because obviously in the Lord of the Rings books, and then there's other stuff. I think there's like, yeah, there's other things that Tolkien put out, but they don't have Smeagol in them. But there's plenty of other stories and side tales that could be told. I'm definitely interested to see it. Well, we'll keep our eyes on it. It won't be out for a few years, so they got to film it. It probably won't be no trailer for a long time, but we'll see. We'll see. It's still really early, so we'll give it a little bit of time. Give it a little bit of time to see what's up. And then we got a new Batman production that'll be released. Caped Crusader just revealed new versions of classic Dark Knight characters. The first look at the cartoon series Batman Caped Crusader features classic costumes and some all new designs. Okay, so it will be, if I remember right, I think it's going to be on streaming on Amazon. Yeah, it's going to be streaming on Amazon Prime, which I have, August 1st. So there's still a little bit of time left, but not really. August will be here before we know it. So they giving them like that 1940s vibe, that earlier Batman, that 1940s feel in terms of how stuff is drawn. Yep, see, there we go. Okay, so so this actually takes place in the 40s. Interesting. I'm always interested to see anything to do with Batman. We got Jim Jordan as a black man, which would be interesting to have a black man as the commissioner in the 40s. I don't not saying that that didn't happen, but I don't know. It sounds a little interesting. But yeah, no, we got Clayface, Harley Quinn, obviously the commissioner, we got Catwoman, and we got Batman with the long pointy ears this time. But listen, y'all, it's time for me to get some food in my belly. And then I got a little bit of other stuff I need to do, including I need to wash my ass. I need to take a shower. And then, ooh, obviously I need to stretch. And then after that, I'm gonna enjoy, I don't know, I might play some Zelda this evening. I'm chilling tonight. I don't have any plans tonight. But love and appreciate y'all, man. Thank you for everything that you do. Again, Trent, thank you so much for purchasing those 5 gifted memberships. Welcome to the tribe, everybody. And yeah, man, y'all have a fantastic rest of the weekend, and we will reconvene on Monday.